Hello, welcome to the Pinfall Podcast, the podcast where Mark is doubly vaccinated and I'm watching a Yankee game while we talk.
And I feel great after the
Yeah,
vaccine.
it's
I'm
really
probably
fucking annoying.
probably jinxing myself. But we'll see. Um Great fucking episode. My god.
Yeah,
Th-
this
th-
was something.
this is why the move to Tuesdays was perfect, so that right after dog shit Raw, we can get a great ass NXT to remind us why we like wrestling.
I know, it's so nice.
And
Um,
I'm realizing, like, NXT, like, look at next week's card. Next week's card is fucking amazing. Last week's card was fucking amazing too. It seems like they're just building every single week to have amazing cards because they don't have a pay-per-view to build up to every
yeah,
goddamn month.
every week is like banger after banger, and it's fabulous.
Like, what do we have next week? We have Bronson versus Johnny, right? That's happening next week for the title.
Yes,
We have Mercedes versus Raquel. We
we've
have
got Fury versus Carrion,
Yuri versus Carrion. Santos versus Kushida.
Killian versus Wolf,
Killing. Oh yeah.
which is going to be real fun when Imperium doesn't help Alexander Wolf win.
Do we have Legato versus MSK?
I
Was
don't know
that?
if that's next. I think that's next week. I feel like some things are happening in 2 weeks and some things are happening next week.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's a very loaded card.
I mean, it's NXT.
True.
But
I was just gonna say. I mean, this week was.
it had two jobber matches, but even then, they're still great.
It didn't have two jobber matches.
Yeah, the one with Asher Hale and Cameron Grimes, and then uh LA Knight and Jake Atlas.
Oh, poor Jake.
I mean, he got an entrance. Got an
And
entrance.
his jacket's getting some airtime.
Oh.
I am convinced that Beth Phoenix was wearing Jake Atlas's fucking god.
Oh yeah. Try to focus. I know it's hard, but try to. Um. Also,
This
just.
is the thing I missed about doing the podcast during the summer
Mm-hmm.
was being able to.
Mm-hmm. I just want to throw this out there. Um. After the best of the night, we're introducing kind of a new segment. We're just gonna be basically doing a Q&A. We're gonna encourage everyone on watching on YouTube to leave a comment asking us a question to answer on the stream. And also, if you're watching on the Twitch, save a question for at the end of the show when we do the Q&A section. Or I guess post it during the best of the nights so that they're there by the time we get to the Q&A.
I thought that we were going to set up for that today and then do it on the next podcast.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out. Like, if questions do come in today, we can answer
If you're
them.
suddenly very confused by us,
They can be anything. Wrestling related, us related, preferably wrestling related. But yeah. So,
I prefer they aren't wrestling related.
okay.
Ask me
News?
about my favorite color.
News?
Not much news today. Not a ton of fucking news.
And also, if you want to check out the YouTubes, it's the Pinfall Podcast on YouTube. We don't have a custom
Sorry, are you
link yet.
Squirrely Dan all of a sudden?
My what? Squirrely Dan?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because you keep saying the Twitch and the YouTubes.
Oh, yeah. Just
This doesn't fucking hang straight. There we go. Been a
got
little
it?
agitated there. Yes, I got it.
Alright, so
And suddenly I can't breathe, so that's fun.
what is we're getting a lot of frame drops. Um
Ooh.
What's on the news? What's on the docket for the news today?
All right. Like I said, not much. First things first, Extreme Rules, the 2021 date was confirmed. It will be apparently happening on July 18th this year.
July 18th. What is that date?
Yes.
Oh no! I'm not gonna be here for that.
Why?
Bachelor party.
You're going to that?
I mean, I guess so. I'm the brother of the bride.
Yeah, but you don't know anyone that's gonna be there.
Well, we'll talk about it after, but I
Yeah.
want to clarify. I want to double check. Wait, that's
It was a bachelor party on a Sunday.
well, it's Friday through Sunday, so maybe I'll be back in time.
Yeah, you'd be back. Because, I mean, everyone that's gonna be there probably has jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one would be stupid enough to get drunk at 11 p.m. at night on a Sunday.
Yeah. Liz.
And that's the finish of the Yankee game. That's your next news piece. The Yankees fucking won against the Astros. Cheating scumbags. Anyways, next piece of news. Chelsea Green underwent surgery again.
Fun.
Yeah. Apparently she had to go under for a plate in her arm that had to be taken out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, she is not doing so hot.
Yeah, it does not seem to be incredibly fun to be Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And then let's clarify a couple things. First things first. Jinder Mahal.
Mm-hmm.
So Jinder Mahal is back, quote unquote.
Hell yeah.
In a sense. In the sense that he's back on main event.
Still something.
It's something. It's fair. But a lot of people were saying that he had returned with Indus Sher.
Yep.
Apparently that is not the case.
Well, Indus Sher helped him in the match, apparently.
Apparently he's not. People were saying that he was in a faction with them.
Mm-hmm.
But now it is being clarified that that is not the case. Jinder Mahal is just Jinder Mahal, just doing Jinder Mahal things.
You know what? Good. I would hate for them to just wrap all of the Indian wrestlers up in one bubble. Spread them
It's
out.
also important to note, which apparently people did not notice, which is fucking incredible. I don't know how you couldn't notice this. Indus Sher also no longer really exists.
Like the label.
Well, they split up Rinku Singh and Saurav, and partnered Rinku with Dilsher Shanky. Remember, we saw him.
Oh.
Super tall motherfucker.
The massive guy. I knew he.
Yeah.
I saw the picture. I thought he looked familiar.
Super tall, very young. Not Saurav.
Right.
So if you didn't know that, if you looked at that picture and somehow could not tell the difference, I'm so sorry.
But
I don't know what's wrong with you.
I do feel like most people like just forget what Indus Sher look like, and especially since didn't they wear a lot of face paint or something?
Yeah, but the thing is that they were both kind of similar in stature, at least.
Yeah.
Whereas Dilsher Shanky is not at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it does not seem like, I guess, like, people aren't sure if this is going to be a new faction. I guess people aren't sure if this means that Sarav is not in the WWE anymore. It raises more questions than it answers.
Right.
But he is not partnered with Indus Sher. He is apparently partnered with Dilsher Shanky and Rinku Singh.
Oh, so he's still partnered with. Oh, okay.
Right. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. It looks like he's partnered, but it's one main event appearance. Who knows?
My point still stands. Like don't just wrap all the Indian wrestlers in a bundle. Spread them out. Just because they're the same nationality doesn't mean they need to be in the same group.
Yeah. Well, WWE seems to really.
Unless it's like
There's no way for me to say it.
Unless it's like a legato type thing where they want to reform the old ways.
Right. That's more because their origin story is based on culture, and therefore they would need to have a shared culture. You know, maybe we'll be proven wrong. Maybe there will be a good reason.
I mean, like, the whole thing with Legato was like the stereotype of lucha libre and masked wrestling. The only stereotype I could see with the Indian wrestlers is their music. But even then.
And the face paint.
But Jinder didn't have any face paint, so I don't know why he would be all up in arms about it. I mean, maybe he's like a see what they're doing to my people type thing.
I guess my confusion is more so Indus Sher's vibe and Jinder's vibe, and even for the little we've seen, Dilsher Shanky's vibe are three very different vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, maybe we'll be proven wrong. Maybe we'll be happily surprised.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Jinder's back. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going to start there.
Happy Jinder's back.
I've missed him.
We have another tag team.
Happy that Dilsher Shanky seems to be getting some time. And, I mean, I don't know where Sarav is, but that Rinku's also getting some time.
Hopefully it's not just main event stuff, and we actually see them on TV.
Yeah, on to our next piece of news. I don't know about that one. At least for Dilsher and Rinku. I mean, I could see Jinder. Obviously, I could see Jinder phasing out of that. But also, they've got Jeff Hardy just sequestered on main event. So I don't really know what's the deal.
Kane used to be on main event. So I don't think it matters as far as, like, tenure goes.
Like, as time has progressed, like, main event right now seems very much like a throwaway. Like,
it's always just been a way to get people, like, wrestling without fitting them on TV.
That's fair. And there is actually a rumor killer on Diamond Mine. People were saying that this could be used to refer to Tessa Blanchard. I think it's becoming more and more clear that the vignettes do not signal that, but originally that was something people were saying. And Tessa Blanchard is actually in talks with AEW. Or rather, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to understand this. I don't know what the rumor killer is in this particular story, but apparently it's not the idea that because she used diamonds in her appearances, in her presentation, that is not supposed to be tied to Diamond Mine whatsoever. I guess the talks that she's in talks, or the rumors that she's in talks with AEW are also not true. But But I guess what we can gain from this is that Diamond Mine is definitely not Tessa Blanchard, and it wouldn't make sense for it to be Tessa Blanchard anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love the two options that are being thrown around, that it's a MMA focused stable or it's like an Evolve type show. And based on what we saw today, it seems like it's an MMA stable.
Yeah. Apparently also like a source in the WWE was like, yeah, we acknowledge the fact that it could be easily confused for Tessa. We just didn't want people to think that. It just feels so stupid. It's like, yeah, we know that like every red herring is pointing to this person, but it's not her. Silly.
Because they're trying to keep it a surprise, so they're trying to they're not worried about diversions or anything.
Yeah. I hope that we find out soon though, because I kind of need to know.
Yeah.
My brain has been waiting.
I wonder if Peter Boudreaux, he's not MMA, right? He's just wrestling.
He's just wrestling, as far as I know.
Okay,
I'm sure he'll bring MMA into his.
I know people compare him to Brock Lesnar, but that's what makes me think that like MMA has something to do with it, but I think he's just wrestling.
I think it'll be more of like the classical, like college wrestling type wrestling.
Right. Like the kind of Timothy Thatcher style.
I'd say even more like Kurt Angle-y.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's why I don't think that Eva Marie actually has anything to do with him, because I think he's going over to. I think he's on NXT because he's got like the Performance Center shirt. He took his pictures in that and everything.
Okay.
So.
Also,
I wouldn't be shocked if he was part of that though.
Also, yesterday, you notice how we didn't see T-Bar at all or Mace?
Yeah.
T-Bar tweeted yesterday, "We got bored of beating up Drew. It's too easy."
Bless their soul.
Oh, man.
Their collective soul.
Love them. Alright, so the episode.
Yeah.
Ooh, what a doozy. Okay, so we started off immediately with Leon Ruff versus Isaiah Swerve Scott in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which felt like a main event. Liz?
This match fucking slapped. This shit was so good. Alright. So. Swerve starts by fucking conking Leon in the goddamn head with his knee, sending him down to the ground. He punches Ruff in the corner for a while. Ruff dodges a swing on him, turns the punching around onto Swerve instead. Ruff then starts doing his little dancing on the ropes thing, but gets caught. There's a failed attempt at a crucifix bomb after Swerve nearly gives me a fucking heart attack by launching Ruff up and over his shoulders, and it was one of the first of many times tonight where I just went, and I felt like a fucking like Victorian woman watching wrestling for the first time, just like, God, I have so much fucking hair. So hot in here. Anyways. So we get a failed cutter to Swerve. Ruff then gets caught, sent into the buckles. We get an arm drag that sends Swerve out of the ring. Leon goes to dive out onto him, but gets caught and nearly has his neck fucking snapped when he is thrown against the apron, head first into the ground. Not great times. Ruff then gets launched into the chain link barricades, one after the other. We get a slam to Leon against the steel grates of the ramp. We get back in the ring. Ruff goes to lift himself by the ropes. Swerve stands on his calf so he can't get up. Sends a knee into his ribs. He then places Leon up top, follows him up there, slaps him. Ruff tries to fight free. We go all the way up to the top so that our feetsies are standing on the top buckle. We get a superplex to Leon. Swerve is then caught up in the ropes with Leon ringside. Ruff kicks him a little bit. We get a drop kick to the dangling head of Swerve. Ruff then goes off the apron onto Swerve and gets swatted to the fucking ground. Scott then nearly kills Leon by throwing a toolbox directly at his fucking head. I recognize that part was obviously choreographed, but I still sat there for a fucking second because the velocity at which he threw that box, I was like, oh my god. And Leon's face, too, afterwards, was just like,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really want me dead? Okay. So, Ruff then cannonballs through the air onto Swerve. Ruff jumps up to the top rope, and is pushed down, holds himself up, lands on the apron on his feet, not too much harm done. Swerve then lifts Leon Ruff. It's a little uneasy because Ruff, his feet aren't quite stable on the rope as he's going up, and Swerve is also standing on the rope, so it's like you got the power of one man over you, and you're one man standing on a rope about probably this wide. And Leon knees Swerve in the head several times, and I'm watching like the weight shift, and I'm like, oh my god, I am gonna watch a man die tonight. Like, this, for the first time in a while, and not to like disparage any of the other episodes of NXT, this was one of the first episodes of NXT in a while where like I genuinely had a gut feeling that I was going to watch a death. But Ruff fought himself into control, managed a crucifix bomb onto Swerve off, I believe, the second rope.
Oh my god.
And Mark and I were both sitting there just like...
Fell right on his shoulders.
It was a moment, that's for fucking sure. Swerve then goes onto the apron. Ruff slides to ringside as if he was going to powerbomb Swerve onto the ringside area. Can't get it. Manages a huge fucking hurricane run instead. This was when you were taking care of the cat as she hacked up a furball.
Swallowed it.
More or less. Yep, that's why I said more or less. A princess, really. Ruff gets thrown into the cage and then bombed to the ground. He avoids a knee to the face against the stairs, which actually sends Swerve's knee into the stairs. He then takes the toolbox, empties the toolbox, slams into Swerve's now injured knee. We get a big frog splash, but that just doesn't finish the job. We get a knee bar on Swerve. Swerve backhands Ruff to free himself, and it's a hard fucking backhand. It wasn't pulled. We get a cutter that sends Swerve outside the ring, and then another cutter to Swerve off of the apron. Ruff then sends Swerve over the barricade, and Ruff goes up onto a ladder that's also over the barricade, where some of the camera guys are. Goes up onto a ladder and jumps on down into AJ Francis's arms. AJ Francis sends Ruff into the barricade, ribs first. The JML connects once we're back in the ring for Swerve to win. Now that like now that Swerve's group of people that he's usually in the studio with have come out into like the world, I'm like, okay, got a cool little vibe going.
Yeah. I've always...
AJ Francis is also a big dude, Jesus Christ.
He really is. But I've always appreciated that whole, like, studio, those promos in the studio, because it's like, it's a nice break from, like when a wrestler does a promo in the like, backstage, despite them not wrestling at all. It's like, you're not wrestling, what are you doing there? You know?
I think the only thing I didn't ever like about those promos was the audio was shit.
Oh yeah, the mixing was terrible.
And it's just ironic that the audio is shit and you're in a recording studio.
Yeah. But also, I just want to quickly throw out, before I forget, because I know I will by the time we get to it, but Wade Barrett, in one episode, lost both his shoe and his mug. The disrespect.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that match was fucking amazing. After that, just had a little tweak in my neck.
Ooh, fun.
Johnny and Austin are walking to find William Regal, and this whole storyline through this whole episode was fucking great. They walk into a meeting between Regal and Scarlett. William Regal kicks them out, but as they're leaving, Austin goes up to Scarlett and says, "Wow, I've never seen such, like, they have to be real. They're so huge. They have to be real, or they're fake. You have such huge nails." That was so good. It was so good. Oh my god.
I just like, I'm getting, there's a part of me that's getting like weirdly like defensive about Scarlett being in William Regal's office for no good fucking reason. I'm just like, leave him alone. That's my William Regal.
Yeah, I wonder why she was in there anyway.
I didn't understand that. It just seemed kind of like a means to an end.
Maybe she's trying to set up the next championship match.
I think we've got a ways to go before that happens, as we saw.
Yeah, or maybe she's talking about a new title design.
Dude, they have so many good options for the new logo.
Mm-hmm.
With the fucking wings and shit. Like, come on.
So it fits Carrion's vibe so well.
And it's also like, it could be so much more ornate, like the fucking UK title.
Yeah.
And it's what we deserve.
More titles should look as ornate as that.
Well, okay, England or the UK title is lucky because they've got like the British coat of arms on there.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's like having a template. Like, yeah, of course it looks nice.
Yeah.
People long ago designed that shit.
Yeah. How do you feel about the North American title?
I'm not a big fan of circular titles.
Oh, really? You see, I really like it. I love the belt, the strap color, and I like the globe.
Oh yeah,
on
I hate that. I
You
don't
hate
like
the
that.
strap color?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay,
I think it could be way more jewel toned. It's very dull.
Mm.
Yeah.
I also don't like the NXT women's title. Just feels like a smaller version of the men's title.
I don't think it feels that much smaller. Not when it's draped over. I mean, when it's draped over Raquel's shoulder, yeah, it looks fucking tiny.
It's tiny, yeah.
Because she is a very broad-shouldered, massive human being.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All the titles are better than a lot of the main roster ones, though.
Yeah, that's pretty much a given.
Like the Universal title.
That's just stupid.
The whole blue and the whole red. It's ugly. What they should do...
Intercontinental looks nice.
Huh?
Intercontinental's nice.
Yeah, that looks really nice. The United States looks really nice now, too.
I miss the old one.
Oh, I love the new one. But what they should do with the Universal is have the strap all black, but have the background of the logo. Oh no, keep the strap red or black or red or blue, and then have the background of the WWE logo black, so it's not all just one color.
Option.
Yeah. Anyway. But after that match, we then had Asher Hale versus Cameron Grimes. Jobber, debut, it's hard to tell. I think it's a Zeta Ramir type situation.
Mr. Asher Hale could
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't.
If he said I was attractive, I'd probably forget how to act.
Elizabeth.
The one downside, though, to him, it kind of upset me when I realized this. His gear reminded me of Tyler Rust's gear. And so the whole time during that match, I was just like, missing my boy.
Yeah, where are Rust and Bivens? I miss them.
I don't
know.
One day we'll have them back.
But yeah, I think this is like a Zeta Ramir situation where he is a jobber technically, but yeah. if the crowd pops enough for him, they'll put him in more.
I genuinely also had like Shane Thorne backflashes, flashbacks, flashes. Oof.
Backflashes. I'm supposed to be the one. I'm supposed to be the sick one here.
Imagine you get the second vaccine and I get sick.
Oh.
Like because of the bleached hair and the tattoos, I was just like, Shane? Slapjack?
He's on SmackDown now, right?
Yeah, that's why I was confused. Hell of a match. Cameron got a waistlock on Hale, dropped him. We get a headlock on Grimes and the big shoulder tackle to Hale. A drop kick to the legs by Hale to Grimes. Cameron then stomps the absolute shit out of Asher. We get a big uppercut to him, and then a kick under the jaw to Grimes. There's a step up Enziguri, and then I don't know. So Asher came out here with like some personality, some Randy Orton personality, where Cameron, I think, tried to like kick him and he grabbed his leg and said no. And then Cameron went with the other leg and he grabbed that leg too and he said no. And then crossed them and like went into like this double dragon screw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was a double dragon screw that just planted the feet, not Grimes himself. He added some flair in there. Like I don't know what did he do, like this kind of or like this, something like that.
Yeah, like something I don't know, like
you need to do this.
Maybe he was just flipping off Wade. But that was awesome to see because I was like, and also I feel weird saying this because I feel like next week we're gonna find out that Asher Hale's also like some form of horrible human being. Like now that everyone likes him.
But one thing you need to remember is, again, there's no ethical consumption of wrestling, so there's probably something horrible about everyone.
I know. It's one of those things where I'm like, I really like him. I think he's really cool and fun to watch. What has he done? What has he done?
The day something horrible comes out about Johnny and Candace, I will quit watching wrestling forever.
Johnny made some off-color tweets a couple of years ago, but like way back when, I think like 2015.
What were they about?
They were, I think they were transphobic. I think that's what I heard. But it was a while ago. I don't know how he reacted to it. In retrospect.
Okay.
However, so I mean, anyways, it was just cool to see the double dragon screw the way it was done because you don't always have people that are brand spanking new come out with like a little bit of flair, a little bit of personality. Usually they're just there because they're like, I want to get this job done. I want to get this job done right. I want to get over. And he came out there like wagging his little fingers and shit. And I was like, okay, all right, this is fun. I'm having fun. I am sports entertained. There's a tornado DDT to Grimes, but Grimes blocks it, sends Hale flying. Hale gets like a little gymnasticy on the ropes though. He fucking like managed to send like I think his legs over the top rope to pull himself up. Sort of like what Drew does, except this time I was interested in watching it. He went off the top rope with a fucking nasty drop kick to Grimes. We get a kick to the midsection, then a big slam to Mr. Hale. Finally, we get the cave-in to Asher Hale for Cameron Grimes to win.
Yeah.
We tried. We tried, boys.
The cave-in is devastating every time, even when it doesn't land properly. It's a fucking devastating move. It's even better than the coup de grace, in my opinion.
I don't agree with that, but
Well, like with today, Asher started in like a standing position, and Cameron just took him down with the cave-in. It's not like he was already laying there.
yeah, he did it in a smarter way because like sometimes the cave-in looks like it's about to tear all the skin off the chest of the person that's receiving it,
Mm-hmm.
and it stresses me out.
Yeah. But after that match, we had an interview with Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. They said they're not concerned with Tian Sha anymore. We're just zooming right past that. No more Tian Sha.
The fact that they came out there with so much fire, like, what'd you do to our best friend? What'd you do to our best friend? And like, all that shit. And it was one match too inconvenient for them where they were like, yeah, you know, fuck it. We don't give a shit anymore. Which, you know, good. Xia Li now has, or the whole Tian Sha storyline has room to move forward and progress in a different fucking direction.
Yeah.
That isn't stupid.
Wonder where they're gonna go now.
Well, we got that promo last week, which I didn't really understand.
The Bohemian Rhapsody kind of promo.
Yeah. Floating heads. So at least that lets me know that they're still thinking about it. Like, it hasn't just been like swept under the fucking rug.
Maybe after Mercedes is done with Raquel. Because I don't know who's up for the title after Mercedes. Seems to be no one else in line.
I don't know if Xia Li's built to take on Raquel.
I mean, she doesn't have to be.
Fair, I guess. You make a point. I think it should be Dakota.
Kyle's not built to take on Carrion, but here he is.
But is Kyle built to take on Raquel?
No.
Yeah.
It could be Dakota. I do think there should be another challenger before Dakota turns around. Because you gotta either have Raquel turn face or Dakota turn face, and I don't think we've kind of scratched that surface at all yet. They're both very heelish.
I think we'll scratch that surface after this Mercedes match.
Yeah.
And the surface will at least be vaguely scraped upon.
Mm-hmm. But after that little... Oh, wait. So, they're not concerned with Tian Sha anymore. They're now concerned about the tag titles. But Frankie Monet walks in, calls them adorable, and says it's going to take them a lot longer to get the tag titles.
Frankie Monet, dude.
She is a fucking shit stirrer, and I love it.
I think the correct term is shit disturber.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, she is stirring up shit.
But nobody is safe. Nobody is safe from Frankie. I love it.
She's sticking her nose in tag team shit now, and I'm like,
her and the dog.
What is your tag team? Yeah, you and the dog, I guess.
The dog, as we saw today, the dog can fucking go.
True.
Shitting in the tank, that's enough.
At first, I was kind of annoyed to see Frankie Monet. Because I was just like, why the fuck are you there? And then you made the point that she's just stirring the pot. And I was like, wait, maybe I love her. Maybe she's just being a bitch to be a bitch. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like there's any like motivation. Like she just wants to disturb shit. I love it. After that, we then have promo with Cameron Grimes. He's in the locker room. Everrise run up to him and start cheering.
Because Everrise rules.
I'm warming up to them, actually.
Chase Parker.
More so Matt Martel.
Well, I'm still confused by Matt Martel and his very Jersey Shore vibe, in spite of being hella fucking Canadian.
He's a himbo.
They're both himbos. And that's what I think, when I realized that, that's when I was like, oh, they're perfect. Gotcha.
They're not quite Austin Theory levels of himbo yet, but
they haven't done anything nefarious. And therefore, they are an unproblematic group of himbos.
Liz, it's wrestling. There's no such thing as unproblematic.
Chase Parker would never. They're Canadians, Mark.
Okay. Sure, there's some Canadians who've done horrible things, like Justin Trudeau.
All Justin Trudeau. Yeah, that's fair. No, Everrise is fucking fantastic. I will not stop until everyone is on the Everrise train. Choo choo, bitch.
All right, so after that promo, we have the grizzled young veterans seen to be recognized in the ring. They start talking. I forget who said this. I think it was Gibson. That who told you it was a good idea to encourage these swamp creatures to take their shoes off? He said, "We are a gift to the NXT universe." And I think Drake spoke up here and said, "Nobody needs to see your dirty webbed toes." I think they said if that happens again, they're gonna get on the next plane out of the country.
Yeah. I was like, wait, wouldn't that be like what they want though if they don't like you?
Yeah.
Okay, can we also really quickly just discuss what the fuck is up with James Drake's hair? My dude broke my heart this evening. Like, there's the all dry look, which is beautiful, gorgeous. How does he do it? And then there's the totally disgusting wet look. Today it was like sort of like how my hair looked when I got out of the shower after just washing off the sweat. It just kind of like looked like a dog that had gone out in the rain for like a couple seconds, come back in. Like it was half dry, it was half wet. You know, I love that man. But he tested me this evening. I felt tested.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've got to say about that. Thank you.
But then Ciampa and Thatcher walk out, and they start the match. GYV versus Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. Great match. Really fun.
Stinky.
I know you didn't like it. I liked it. I thought it was really fun.
Without paying attention, because I was focusing on like 5 different things during this entire episode, I titled this match in my notes, GYV for Tim Thatcher.
For Tim Thatcher?
For.
Like the...
That verse, and no Tommaso was mentioned.
Like the number 4?
No, just like FOR.
Okay.
Like they are for him.
So Thatcher joining GYV?
I wasn't trying to like push any points because they're my notes. I don't need to push my own points in my notes, but...
When do we get a feud between GYV and Imperium? That'd be a lot of fun.
When Tim Thatcher joins Imperium and I don't have to fucking play this game anymore.
And then Ciampa joins GYV.
Well, he wanted the UK title just so goddamn badly.
Well, and then Wolf would join GYV. He'd probably start up Sanity again.
No, because Killian would never leave Drake.
It would be a stable, because it was a stable originally. It was a triple.
Fair, but I don't think Drake Maverick would trust him.
He proved himself last week.
He still ended up in a position where he was holding a steel chair over Killian's body, so that's a couple steps back on the trust train for me. Also, just want to quickly discuss that Daryl Sharma shaved his fucking facial hair and he looks like a little baby.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to say about that. So we start with Tommaso and James Drake in. Tommaso now has a fancy little jacket that looks like Tim's, which sucks because Tim has the jacket that I actually don't like because it's not the one with the plaid on the inside. Weird boxy one. So of course, Tommaso gets that one. He's weird and boxy. There's a shoulder tackle to James Drake and then a submission hold with his legs. Tim gets him. It's just really there to break James Drake's arm. It's a leg hooked around James Drake's leg. I don't know why he did it. It was just something I guess I made a point to note because nothing came of it. He just did that, and I guess maybe to make sure that like James Drake couldn't like scooch out of like the hold. However, Zach Gibson gets in. Tim starts trying to break Gibson's arm, and we get a shoulder tackle to Gibson after he breaks free, and Tim goes back to breaking Gibson's arm, which is really just fun for Tim. Good for him. Gibson finally manages to get on top of Thatcher. We get an ankle lock on Thatcher, who manages to stand out of it, sort of. Like he gets his other leg up, gets the sleeper on Gibson. Gibson lets go. And Thatcher just sits there with the sleeper locked in. James Drake comes in to break it up, sending a boot to the face of Thatcher, who does not really, like, he lets go of Gibson for a second before grabbing him again and just smiling like a little fucking golden retriever. It's charming.
Mm-hmm.
Tommaso then attacks James Drake. Together, he and Tim beat the piss out of the chests of Gibson and Drake. We go to commercial, we come back. Tim is beating up James Drake now. He throws him into the corner. And then James Drake goes out to the apron and tags in Gibson. And then some little orange referee says, no, you can't do that. Because like this match was really rife with Drake Wirtz being a part of it. I don't know if you noticed that. But like he was more involved than a ref normally is without like there being like any sort of like real interference.
He always is.
I guess I noticed it more today because I was annoyed by it. But yeah, so James Drake, you know, wrestling veteran, incorrectly tags out. Does that make sense? He and Drake Wirtz argue about it for a while. So does Zach Gibson. While this is happening, Tim drags James Drake back in, ends up getting himself slung into the ropes. Gibson gets legally tagged in. Thatcher gets dropkicked in the back by James Drake while Gibson holds on to him. Gibson starts working a headlock on Thatcher. He gets the cravat locked in. Pardon me while I try not to hiccup. Thatcher gets out of the cravat but gets headbutted. Gibson then hangs onto Thatcher as Thatcher crawls to his corner. Thatcher manages to kick away a freshly legal James Drake. It's Tommaso, and Tommaso's clotheslining all of the men. They have red trunks on. They get clotheslined. He doesn't do much else outside of that. Tim gets in, starts punching the shit out of James Drake. Tommaso gets back in after Drake Wirtz is yelling at him and Tim. Like, Tim did something, and all I see is Drake Wirtz in his face, pointing at his badge, like, you need to listen to me. And I was like, I missed something? Did I, like, look away for 5 seconds and miss something important? Anyways. Tommaso gets in. Big running knee to the jaw of James Drake. Tommaso then bites James Drake's
Yep. Pause it. Run it back.
Tommaso bites James Drake's thumb before tagging in Thatcher, which isn't an entirely legal move, but whatever. Thatcher gets James Drake's legs, and ends up getting kicked several times. Gibson gets in. We get a big old belly-to-belly to Mr. Zach Gibson. James Drake breaks up the cover. Then Tommaso gets in to fight James Drake. Tim starts fighting Gibson. Tommaso clotheslines Drake from the ring. Gibson sends a flurry of shots to Tim. We get a double underhook to Gibson. Gibson kicks out right into an armbar. Drake then sends Ciampa skull first into the announce desk, sends him into and over the announce desk afterwards. We get a corkscrew neckbreaker to Tim from Gibson. And then James Drake wants to tag. Tommaso stops him, distracts the referee. During his time behind the announce desk, apparently he managed to get Wade Barrett's shoe. Wade Barrett did not notice that this has happened because Wade Barrett does not mention it until he realizes that his shoe is in the ring. His shoe is in the ring. Tim takes it, uses it, hits Gibson with it, gets him into an armbar. Fucking Gibson taps out. It's just incredible to me that, like, because I didn't even know it was thrown into the ring at first. But I see it thrown in. And then Wade's like, hey, that's my shoe. And I was like, well, were you not confused by your socked foot touching bare ground?
How did his shoe get taken away from him? Unless
Did he, like, step out of it in his haste to get away from Tommaso going over the announce desk, and Tommaso was like, oh.
I mean, he probably took it off as, like, the take your shoes off if you hate GYV
No,
thing.
because remember, Vic was like, oh, well, you took your shoes off, so you must hate Zach Gibson. And Wade was like, no, I would never, blah, 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 blah. Because he's the heel, and they're the heel.
Oh. You know, people call Vic and Wade boring. People do.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what they're smoking, but they're anything but boring. They're way better than the fucking main roster commentary tables. Although maybe
I might say
maybe not Pat.
Wade better.
Oh, was that a joke? Okay. Anyway. So, I'm just gonna move on.
I feel offended, but it's fine.
We then have Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory backstage. Johnny tells Austin to bust down the door. Austin just goes, knocks on it very lightly. And then Johnny's like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Regal comes around the corner the other way. And Johnny's like, the match with Bronson shouldn't be happening. He beat Austin. He didn't beat me at all. Shouldn't be happening. And Regal says, no, it's still happening. And then he says, surprise, Austin, you now have a match with Karrion Kross next week. Oh my god, Theory's gonna die. Holy shit. I wonder if they're gonna try and, like, show Theory, like, oh, Johnny's probably gonna step in. Probably. I can imagine.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they wouldn't have him completely squash Austin, but they also probably wouldn't have Austin, like, put up a huge fight when he has so many, when Karrion has so many potential challengers now. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't see that happening.
Mm-hmm. They might make it into a handicap match. Ooh, Johnny versus Scarlett at ringside, says Miriam.
Yes, please.
Candice versus Scarlett as an actual match.
That's something we deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny versus Scarlett is also an actual match that we deserve.
Yeah, but like in Johnny's home, kind of like a backlot brawl kind of thing, but it's like in the Gargano home.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
All right, fine.
It's like smashing through walls. Johnny just hurls Scarlett into a wall.
The TV gets broken again.
And Johnny goes into, like, enraged mode.
Please.
Maybe this is how they turn the way face. Maybe. I wonder. Or probably not, because NXT kind of like
They
they
don't
walk on
care.
those lines.
Yeah.
But after that, we have Swerve and his crew backstage. Swerve turns to the camera and says he told us he'd beat Leon tonight. He did exactly what he said. And then we move on to Karrion and Scarlett in the ring. Karrion says he made things crystal clear at TakeOver. People said they weren't afraid of him. He's not afraid of them either. He said, "What are we waiting for? Let's give people what they want. Give them a fight." He said he doesn't need to prove anyone wrong. People need to come out and prove themselves right. Next week, Austin Theory is going to be at the other end of his fist. And then Kyle O'Reilly comes out. Cool Kyle dressed like he's going to a craft beer festival.
Oh my god, be nice to him. He looks so cute.
Does anyone dress like that anymore?
Guys that go to craft beer festivals.
He gets in the ring and then tips his hat to Scarlett and bows like a nice gentleman.
I adore Kyle, but he did that, and I very much was like, I don't know about that one.
Can we have Kyle's name officially, like his ring name officially changed to Cool Kyle?
But it's got to be spelled with a K.
Yeah, Cool Kyle.
Okay.
So Kyle comes out. He says everyone should be afraid because of something called sheer dominance. He said, I came out to tell you that I'm not afraid of you. This is the match that I want. Something tells me this is the match that you want too. And then Pete Dunne comes out. Peter Dune. He says, are you two having a giggle?
He says a laugh.
I know, but he might as well have said giggle.
Imagine if he did. Him and his little skinny ankles. They're so skinny.
He's got great style. He really has great style. I mean,
he wears jeans, a button up, and a puffy vest.
Yeah, but he's got nice shoes. He's showing his ankles. Like he's got the cropped jeans. He's got the hoodie under the jacket. The color coordination.
It's not hard to color coordinate when the color is one color.
Yeah. It's all that to Kyle.
Kyle tries at least. He annoys me only because it's like I'm attracted to him, but I'm confused by the attraction because he's orange. Maybe that's why he always wears black, because then like the self tanner won't rub off on the clothes and ruin them.
No, I feel like it still would. I feel like it would rub off. Like it just, yeah. I feel like you'd still see it if you wore all orange. Then yeah,
there we go.
You can see it. So Peter Dune comes out, and you two having a giggle. I don't care about the new Kyle, this match, or that Karrion is the NXT champion. I'm the baddest man in NXT. You, Daniel Bryan, coming out and says, no, you're fucking not. Finn Balor then comes out. He just says, been there, done that, guys. Or, yeah.
Does he say anything?
He said, been there, done that. In regards to
I thought he just
everyone.
went in and dropkicked him.
No, he at least got that out before he attacked Karrion, and then all-out brawl ensues. Security then comes out and breaks it up. Kyle attacks one of the security guards. Karrion suplexes one of them. Was it Dragon Suplex? He did?
Saito.
They call it a Dragon Suplex. It's a signature.
It's the Saito Suplex. They go between it when they're talking about him, because they've called it the Dragon Suplex, they've called it the Saito Suplex, they don't know what to call it.
Okay. But after the fight's broken up, Johnny and Austin come out and attack Karrion. Karrion tries to fight them off, but they are too strong together. They give a double super kick to Karrion's face. And then Johnny smacks him with the North American title. And after this promo, the title scene looks fucking great.
It really does.
Like, I know Kyle and Pete and Finn have all already gone for the title. Finn already had the title, but like, I can just imagine these matches happening and they look amazing. I imagine Pete Dunne will probably be the first on the chopping block. And then once he's out, Daniel Bryan will come to NXT and have a feud with Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful.
I know.
The entirety of the wrestling fan base is hopeful. I mean, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted a gif of Daniel Bryan. I forget what the gif was exactly, but everyone in the comments was just like, "Don't give me hope." But after that, we have an interview with Austin and Johnny. They're quickly booking it out of the CWC, probably to get away from Karrion. And Johnny says, they're asked about like, what about Candice and Indy's match? And Johnny's like, "We're going to get the celebration ready for when they win. Bye." And then we have another match: Zeta Ramir versus Saray. Two very new wrestlers to NXT.
Soul. My fucking soul.
This match right here proves that they actually like pay attention to audience reception.
They announced this match like last minute basically, and I had to like do a double take because I was like, did I really just get this lucky? So we start with a headlock on Saray, which she transitions into a head scissors submission. She takes Zeta's legs out and stomps her midsection. We get a side headlock on Saray, and then a drop kick to Zeta as Zeta bounces off the ropes. And it basically takes her fucking nose off. We get another stomp to Ramir's midsection. Zeta then drops Saray from her legs by her legs. And if that doesn't make sense, that's because I was also confused.
Mm-hmm.
But Zeta used her legs to send Saray down. Like, went over her and, like, hooked her legs almost. I don't even know how to explain it, like,
yeah, I'm confused.
logically. Well, you watched the match. You should know how
but I don't remember every move.
Yeah, well, it was impressive. It was almost like, you know Colt Cabana's move? His finisher?
Yes.
It was similar to that.
Okay. It's a weird finisher.
Colt Cabana's a weird man. So, so she then throws her into a full body submission. Saray manages to reach the ropes. She then slams Zeta to the ground. It's her fancy bridging submission hold thing, like the faux sharpshooter bridging into like fucking breaking the person's neck, which she didn't get immediately. Zeta didn't lift her head up quite enough, I don't think. So Saray fell like a little flat at first, but such a fucking difficult looking move that I couldn't really judge. We get a drop kick to the face of Zeta, and then a fisherman suplex with a bridge to Zeta, and then a missile drop kick to Zeta, and then another drop kick to Zeta. Like, I felt like I was just taking the same note over and over again, but every single drop kick was different and scarier than the last.
Mm-hmm.
Zeta avoids a fourth by tangling Saray into the ropes. We get an uppercut to Saray and then a sling blade. There's like a spinning mule kick back to Zeta and a brutal fucking German suplex. Finally, we get the Saito suplex to what looks like almost break Zeta's neck, force Saray to win. What a fucking just... You know, after the disrespect on Raw last night with the women's tag match, I felt replenished. I felt alive again.
Oh, you see, this match didn't do that for me. I didn't feel that till the tag match in the main event.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like this, because like these are two brand new people. That's what like kind of got me.
Right. Well, there was a botch at one point.
Yes, I talked about the botch. The botch was when she was doing her bridging submission hold and Zeta didn't lift her head up enough.
No. That wasn't it. Or that's not the one I'm thinking of. There was one where Saray went to run against the ropes, came back, kind of did like some kind of kick or something, and Zeta had like already dropped to duck it, but Saray just landed right on Zeta. Like literally landed on top of her. It was very weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
It was kind of jumbled. It was kind of hard to tell like what was supposed to happen. But still, I mean, two fucking brand new ladies. Great stuff. After that we have Imperium in a video call with Walter. No idea what was said. I know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if they were speaking in German or if it was just garbled
most of it
Skype speak.
Most of it was German. I know Walter said imbecile at one point. That's all I caught.
Yeah.
Even when he's speaking English, it sounds like he's speaking German.
But also, I mean, when you're recording audio over from a video call, it sounds so wonky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he could have been speaking full English the entire time, and I still would have been like, what?
Yeah. But I think they were talking about Alexander Wolf's match against Killian next week. Something like that. The boss kind of disciplining his squad.
Yeah, but then that's not exactly how that fucking ends.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna end with Walter coming to America and beating the shit out of Wolf.
I meant the promo itself ended in a way that kind of made it clear that Wolf is going in the face of not just Marcel and Fabian, but also in the face of Walter. It's like, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to go against Marcel and Fabs, but I don't know if I'd be going against Walter at any point in my life.
Yeah. Also, Miriam said it's incompetent that he said. I misremembered.
Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't remember him saying imbecile, but I did remember him saying an in word.
Mm-hmm. Incompetent. We then get Saray and Zeta Ramir backstage. Tony Storm walks in, but is stopped by Zoe Stark. I almost want to say Zoe Storm. Tony says, "Come on, let's go." Like, as in, let's fight. But Zoe just like dismisses her a bit and goes to check on Zeta Ramir. Then we get Jake Atlas versus LA Knight. And LA Knight walks out. Just starts fucking talking. I didn't write down anything he said. I was hoping you did. Well,
I don't listen to this man.
all you need to know is he said, "And that's just a fact of life, dummy. I'm LA Knight."
He had some good puns, and it's sad that I'll never remember them now.
Here, wait, I found the video of it on Reddit. I might be able to just play it.
Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, we're allowed to do that. Let's see. LA. Okay, I got it. I'm just gonna play it. Let's see. Probably not gonna be clear at all. That's.
Speaking of not cool, I'm gonna give new meaning to the name Jake Atlas tonight, because I'm gonna punt your ass so far down the street, you're gonna need an Atlas just to find it. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That is just a fact of life.
I love the Atlas pun. That's so good.
I just want Jake Atlas to be used like a normal wrestler. I'm so mad that he keeps getting used as a jobber.
I mean, watch 205 Live then. He's like a main event guy there. Main card.
It's true. I should probably watch more 205 Live. I always say that, and then I never do.
Arya Daivari is doing a good job.
Dude, Arya Daivari is my king. I adore him.
Yeah. Jake Atlas versus LA Knight.
Maybe that's where Tyler Russ will show up next.
No, don't say that. Don't disrespect Malcolm Bivens like that. As if he let a pupil go down to 205 Live.
It's just so painful. Anyways, there's a big arm drag to LA Knight, and then Atlas starts working hard for an arm sub while, or I think a wrist lock, while LA Knight kind of fights out of it. Once he finally does, there's another big arm drag. We get a boot to the face of Knight, and then another one. Atlas goes to dive out onto Knight and meets a punch to the face. We get a jumping knee to Atlas on the apron, and then Knight lawn darts himself over the ropes into Jake. We get a German suplex to Knight. Atlas is placed up top. He fights Knight down as he's going up, kicks him in the face, but Knight gets like a fucking massive, like, I guess, neck breaker onto Jake.
Yeah.
It looked almost more like a neck breaker kind of takedown, but I guess that's going to be his finisher.
Yeah,
I feel like it should have a name, but I don't know what it is.
It's kind of his thing, doing the RKO. He did it, I think, against Dexter in the.
It's not quite an RKO though. At least tonight it wasn't quite an RKO.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's good though. He's really good.
I'm not sold yet. Not sold yet. Good time.
After that match, we had Indy and Candice in the locker room. We see behind the door, Dexter is standing there with flowers, a whole bouquet. And then Indy walks over and just closes the blinds and says, "No more distractions." I love this because they're getting Dexter's appearance out of the way so that the tag match could just be a straight on match. No funny business.
You said Indy shut the blinds. It was actually Candice.
Oh, I meant to say Candice. My bad. But yeah, it was great stuff. We got an actual great match out of it.
It was a really fucking incredible match.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 500 fucking pages of notes on it, so let's jump in.
Well, we then have a promo from Toni Storm. She said Zoe's pissing her off. She doesn't deserve to be in the same place as her. And she said, "I'm a future superstar, future champion, you're a future nobody." And then we get Legado del Fantasma in the ring. Santos says tradition, heritage, legacy. We watched him take over, become the undisputed emperor of Lucha Libre. Everyone witnessed an iconic moment. He said he'll recover what is rightfully his, the Cruiserweight Championship. Joaquin Wilde says they haven't forgotten about MSK. They beat MSK last week, and MSK did not beat them at TakeOver. Mendoza then says they want a tag title match against MSK. Kushida then appears in the Jumbo. Says next week, Kushida versus Santos for the Cruiserweight Championship. That's going to be a banger.
Also found out that Mendoza is younger than Wild, and my brain shut the fuck off. Because Wild has such a fucking baby face.
Mm-hmm.
He looks so young, and then I found out that he's like fucking 34, and Mendoza, who looks like he should probably be in his 30s, is 29, and I was like, that's actually quite close to my age.
Mm-hmm. We also found out that the match between Kushida and Santos is going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match. We haven't seen one of those in a while.
No, we have not.
But then we have Mercedes Martinez and Raquel Gonzalez in their little separate room phone call thing. Raquel said, "Pure power. This title means I'm the baddest woman." Mercedes then says, "Everyone wants to talk about my experience, but I'm hungry. I have something to prove next week. You don't intimidate me." Raquel says, "All I see is a woman who's going to get her ass kicked." Mercedes says, "Well, I don't stay down. I paved the road for you." But Raquel says, "You set the bar. You did. But way down here. I set the bar where nobody can touch it." But Mercedes says, "I'll end your title reign in one night." But Raquel says, "You're the first challenger, but you're not going to be the last." And then we have Shotzi and Ember backstage. They're just chatting it up, going to the tank. Run into Frankie's dog sitting on the tank. Puppy runs away. They look in the tank. The dog left a big fat shit in there. And Shotzi's like, "That thing came out of something that small?" Oh man.
As the owners of a small animal, you'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Be very surprised.
And then last promo, we have Cameron Grimes out in the town, trying to get into a club in the VIP room. But he's not on the list. The bouncer, who is some trainee, the massive trainee, says the entire venue has been rented out. But then a limo with a $sign on it pulls in. Ted DiBiase walks out and says he bought the whole place and says everybody's got a price. And then after that, we move back to the CWC where we have Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Tag Team title in a street fight.
Yes, and that's why these notes are pretty extensive, because I was taking notes on basically 2 matches at once.
Mm-hmm.
However, I felt like my notes were very narrative for this match and very coherent, which means that they'll flow into each other easily. And so, yeah. So right away, the bell... Before Alicia can even announce what the match is, the bell is rung because the ladies are fighting each other. Shotzi gets a table out. It's shoved into the steel barricade while going to set it up. Indy then also takes out Ember at the same time, starts setting up the table. Candice ends up having to... Ember comes out to where Candice is on the other side of the ring. Candice shoves her into the lower barricade by the tech area, on the opposite side of the crowd. She starts unloading stuff from under the apron before being super kicked by Ember as she recovers. Indy then shoves Shotzi into the apron. Ember gets some trash cans. She tosses one into the ring. She tosses one at Candice LeRae. Indy then sets up the table, but gets her head smacked into it by Shotzi, which ultimately could be a lot worse because you're the one who set up the table, and therefore that means that you're going through it. So I would rather my head just get smacked into it. Ember and Shotzi shove Candice into the small barricade again. Shotzi and Ember get into the ring, start attacking Indy. She's shoved into the ropes. Shotzi takes Indy's legs out. There's a dropkick to her from Ember, and then an elbow drop from Shotzi. And then they put a trash can over Indy's head and drop kicks in stereo to Indy's fucking skull vis-a-vis the trash can. I didn't care for. I didn't think I should have to watch that tonight, but I had to. Candice, however, breaks the cover. She kicks Shotzi. And then super kicks her before coming to Indy's aid. She tries the sliding dropkick into Shotzi and Ember, who are now ringside, and is evaded and then hit in tandem with the trash can lids. Shotzi and Ember grab a new table, go to set it up, but Indy grabs Ember, shoves her into the barricade, drops Shotzi into the apron face first. Indy slings Ember over the barricade and kicks her in the face. She then starts setting up some chairs. into a fun little pattern. Shotzi interferes on this, and Indy goes to execute something. I don't really know what. She lifts Shotzi up. But Ember grabs her and slams her face first into this chair setup. We get a chair-on-chair structure where we had 2 chairs here and 2 chairs here facing each other. And then Ember and Shotzi put another chair like here on top of those 2 chairs.
Kind of like a electric chair kind of setup.
Almost, yeah. But before they can do anything there, Candice breaks up the fun by hitting both Ember and Shotzi with a fire extinguisher, and by hitting them, I mean spraying them with it. Go to commercial, we come back. There's a table set up in the corner. There's a chair set up in the corner. There's a ladder bridged between the ring and the barricade. A lot of construction has happened. Candice is drop kicked by Ember. Shotzi hits the step up enziguri to Indy. Both women, both Indy and Candice are against the ropes, and they're kicked. There's a Pele kick from Ember to them from the ringside area, while Shotzi cannonballs into their backs. Candice is then sent into the post in the corner where the chair originally was, but the chair fell out basically the moment we came back from commercial. So she's slammed into that post because it was supposed to be a chair. Shotzi gets the sleeper on Indy with her legs hanging while she hangs over the ropes, which normally would be counted out, but because it's a street fight, it doesn't matter. Ember then throws a chair at Indy's head, which Indy swats away.
Well, she already had her arms up like to guard it, and that like it just hit her arms, and that was it.
Right. Nice. So we then get a double team offense to Candice LeRae where Ember grabbed Candice, and Shotzi then dumped her face first into the ground. We get double forearms to Indy. Candice is sent over onto the ladder that is bridged between the apron and the barricade. Shotzi then goes up top, and this is when I think this was the second part of the night where I was like, oh, I'm going to watch somebody die. And thus began like the 3 minutes of nightmare shit that we had to fucking watch. Which just makes me more scared of these women because they can fucking do this and not I.
Yeah. Indy's invulnerable.
Yeah. Shotzi goes up top and senton's down onto Candice, who is laying on that ladder. And the ladder only breaks partially. And Shotzi goes off of Candice. Candice falls onto Shotzi, bounces off of her. And the noise Shotzi made when she hit the ground, I was actually like convinced that she had hurt herself. She sold it really well if she didn't. But in the moment I was like, oh no. Oh dear. Ember then throws Indy headfirst into the table, which also does not really break. This table that's set up in the corner, it only breaks at the bottom where Indy's tailbone hits, which I guess thank God that happened. But the back of Indy's head fucking smacked into the table, and I was like, oh my God. For fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was just a matter of like poor placement, I guess, because it broke towards the bottom. Not where you wanted it to break.
I think it was poor scoring of the table only because where it broke, I don't know how they would have set it up any differently for that to have broken where Indy's head hit.
Who went into her? It was Ember?
Yeah.
I think she could have like just hit a little higher on it.
Yeah. Or thrown her a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Shotzi and Ember go and grab the baby ladder. They run at Indy, who kicks the ladder into them. Candice is somehow still alive at this point. Shotzi gets loaded onto the ladder. It is against the ropes. Indy is holding one side. The ropes are holding the other side. Shotzi is laid across the middle. And we get an assisted springboard moonsault from Candice off the ropes. She doesn't get all of it. And the ladder also does not break. Shotzi just kind of gets like Candace's feet into her like chest.
To be fair, I don't think this was supposed to break because it was such a short ladder.
Well, Candace probably could have landed a little closer.
And Indy was holding it, right? I think she could have let go a little sooner.
It should have been set up closer. But it should have been set up closer.
Right.
In the first place. There's a spinebuster into Ember into the ladder. Shotzi gets slammed into the steel barricade. She then breaks Wade's coffee mug over Indy's back. Indy gets loaded onto the table, and we get a crossbody off the steel beam onto Indy. Ember Moon power bombs Candace. Ember goes up top but gets punched. Candace meets her up there. And Shotzi ends up lifting Candace on her shoulders, going to Ember's rescue. Candace gets down. We get a super kick to Candace from Shotzi. Indy goes off the top buckle onto Ember, who is now on a table. And then Shotzi gets pulled around a little bit by Candace. Candace is in control. Hits the Wicked Stepsister into the steel chair. Candice LeRae, finally, for the first time in her NXT career, has some gold around her fucking waist. Thank God. Like, I love Shotzi and Ember. Don't get me wrong, but a long time coming.
Candace and Indy are fucking amazingly talented. Also, 3 things. All kind of newsy. First of all, this was Aja Smith's first main event match that she refed.
Oh, good for her.
She tweeted, I officiated my first main event tonight. These guys, in reference to the other refs, minus Drake Wirtz, didn't let me become a nervous wreck, but most importantly, they told me how much I earned it. Work so hard, you can't be denied. Don't forget it takes a village. Always grateful. Also, you know Swerve's crew?
Yeah.
One of them was Ashante Adonis. I didn't even realize.
Was it Ashante?
Yeah. Because Ashante tweeted a picture of the whole 4-man crew.
When he's not wearing green, I don't recognize him, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we also haven't seen him in a while.
True. He's just been on 205 Live. But also, breaking news from Fightful. Apparently, after the episode of SmackDown this past Friday, Daniel Bryan's contract expired.
I knew it!
Now, Daniel Bryan said in like an interview, like, people always assume it was like people were throwing around September because that's when his last contract expired. But after the Friday before last, he said that his neck was really busted up after that tag match. But there's no confirmation whether or not that he's re-signing or worked out, like signed a new contract, something like that. But he did say, what was it? He said, it's funny that people gravitate towards the date September, and I think it's because that's when my last contract ended, but it doesn't end in September. I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like. I had a tag team match on SmackDown last Friday, and it was a lot of fun, but my neck just got wrecked. Apparently Daniel Bryan has been vocal about doing some unconventional work with and for WWE, so that might mean NXT. I mean, what else is unconventional besides NXT in terms of WWE? But yeah, this suddenly gets a little scarier. Daniel Bryan's future.
You know, it just makes sense that I finally find a birthday twin that I love and respect. And this happens.
But, I mean, based on what he said, he's probably, like, he'll probably wrestle with every single promotion Because that's it. That's what he said he wants to do. Just wrestle everywhere.
That's great. I don't watch every single promotion. I don't have time to.
But I heard a funny theory that so he got banned from SmackDown. He goes to Raw, has like a feud with like Bobby Lashley or something, or Drew. Ends up having like a stipulation that gets him banned from Raw. Goes to NXT. Has a feud with Pete Dunne. Eventually it says, if you lose this, you're banned from NXT. So he's banned from every single brand. Ends up on like 205 Live or something. Gets banned from there too.
Wish I could laugh. Wish I could have fun about this. But now I'm just upset. You've hurt my feelings and I'm sad now.
Look, it's still up in the air. Fightful's still trying to find out some more information, but apparently they haven't heard anything yet. So it might just be moving brands, ideally.
I don't think so, because I mean Daniel Bryan was pretty vocal also about how he said, like, when my contract is up, I'm not coming back. He said that on a number of occasions.
Yeah, but that's the past. Who knows what's in his mind right now?
Well, weeks ago.
I'm sure he still wanted like to wrestle a bit on NXT, have like some dream matches, especially with like Pete Dunne. But we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. I'm sure we'll hear from that soon. Like, if not tomorrow.
First birthday news ever.
So best of the night?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So there's a lot to sift through tonight. But for promo of the night, we started off with Johnny and Austin crashing William Regal and Scarlett's meeting. That was the start of a very fun storyline that we had. Austin's himbo question about Scarlett's nails was so great. After that, we had the interview with Casey and Kaden. That was whatever. The Cameron Grimes promo with Everrise. That was fine. GYV being GYV in the ring. It's priceless as always. Then we had Johnny and Austin ready to knock down Regal's door. The surprise at the end where Regal set up a match with Austin and Karrion was great. Then we had Swerve and his crew backstage. That was whatever. Karrion and Scarlett in the ring, where we see all of the potential challengers. I loved this. This gives so much hope for the main event scene. Even having Johnny getting involved now and potentially him eyeing the NXT championship. That could be fucking awesome. Bronson will probably take the North American title off of him, then Johnny will go for the NXT championship. But yeah, this promo was it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I thought it was raining. I did not realize that was the kettle in the kitchen.
Okay. You thought it was your computer? Is that why you leaned in?
At first, I thought my computer fan turned on, and I was like, what are we doing? Calm down.
Then we had an interview with Austin and Johnny as they're sprinting out. It's just so funny. Then we had Imperium. Couldn't really understand anything, but, it's Imperium. Then we had Saray and Zeta Ramir, followed by Tony and Zoe. That was whatever. Indy and Candace in the locker room. Just Dexter standing behind the door, blinds closed, still standing there, just the whole time.
Kudos to his commitment to keep standing there in spite of the fact that the blinds have been closed.
And the fact that nobody needed to use that door. That was great stuff. The way all four of them are so good. They're so good. That whole group makes NXT so much better. Which it would be great without them, but that just goes to show what they do for them. Then we had the promo Tony Storm. That was whatever. Legato in the ring. It was interesting. The information we got, especially about the challenge next week. Kushida. It was interesting stuff. Nothing like to the level of what we usually see from Legato. Then we had Mercedes and Raquel. Very poorly scripted segment. This was weird. Then we had Shotzi and Ember with the dog pooping in the tank. That was great. That was so funny. And then lastly we had Cameron Grimes out in the town. Great. I want to see Cameron Grimes versus Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. Fun.
That's the only way this can pay off. But I guess promo of the night, I probably got to give it to Carrion. And the whole main event scene, just like the hope and Johnny going for that title, it's so saturated.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll take it.
Second place is the dog pooping in the tank. Alright, so wrestler of the night. So we started off with Leon Ruff versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. I'm gonna go with Leon Ruff here. Leon was balls to the walls in this match. I mean, that crucifix drop off the second rope, that was insane. And then the bumps that Leon took are bumps that a small man like him should not be taking.
He's a durable little man.
And one thing, one thing I don't like that he does is like the whole leaping off the ropes kind of thing with the opponent trying to like grab him. He's not moving that far of a distance. Like, he's not moving that fast either. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult, like, of a thing to do to grab him. But he didn't really do that this match, I don't think. Unless he did it while I was out of the room. Otherwise, he made this match so good. This match was fantastic. Swerve was great too, but I just really liked Leon Ruff's performance.
I get that.
Then we had... Oh, as I scrolled all the way down. We had Asher Hale versus Cameron Grimes. 100% Asher Hale. He looks like a great wrestler.
I'm excited to see more of him.
Yeah. Hopefully, I have a feeling he's just going to go to 205 Live. He seems like a cruiserweight. But maybe that pushes somebody from 205 Live up to NXT. Like Arya Daivari.
Yeah, we had that one match with Arya, and that was incredible.
Yeah. We also...
Was that him versus Ruas?
Was it?
I can't remember. No, Arya fought Tyler, I think. Yeah.
Right. Who did Arturo Ruas fight? They put him out for a while. I gotta look up his past matches. Arturo Ruas. Let me...
Kushida?
Oh, yeah, it was Kushida.
Yeah. And then he like tore his ACL like 5 seconds later, and we were like, oh, well, it was fun.
That sucks. He was such a good wrestler too.
Yeah. He's not dead.
Yeah. He'll just be out for a while. But yeah, Asher Hill was great. Really want to see more of him.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had GYV versus Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. Thatcher is the highlight here. I mean, his character work along with his wrestling, he does such a good job. I do wish he would get back to singles matches rather than tag.
You, me, and everyone we know.
I feel like it's not being utilized super well in the tag scene, but it's a nice variety from what he has been doing, so it's not like he's doing a poor job and the matches are bad.
Yeah.
They're good. After that, we had Zeta Ramir versus Saray. I picked Saray. Saray was great. Yeah, she did a really good job. A really good wrestler. That's really all I could say. She did the wrestling well. Just want to see a
They
little.
both did a really great job.
Want to see a little more character work from her. I know she hasn't like established a character yet, really. But I have a feeling she's just gonna be like a Kushida style face, or just like typical baby face, doing their thing. After that, we had Jake Atlas versus LA Knight. LA Knight is who I'm going with. He was great. I really like watching LA Knight. He has like a nice mix of like strong style and very quick, agile movements. I really want to see like some big singles matches with him. And then we had Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Shotzi and Ember. I'm going with Shotzi. Shotzi was fucking insane this match. Like, she threw herself into every single bump that she could. I mean, Indy was great in that she took a million bumps that should have killed her, but Shotzi also did that, plus pulled off some really cool stuff. Super talented. I really want to know where this takes us now with her. Whether
I get that.
Whether they stay a tag team or they kind of split up and do single stuff.
I wouldn't mind if they split up. Like, I hate to say that because they're a really cool tag team, but the women's singles scene. Actually, no. I mean, we don't really need that many more people in the women's singles team.
It's pretty full right now.
Really, they could do whatever they want. I don't think that it would like hurt or like insanely elevate anything. Really, you know.
I think we do.
Not to be a dick. It sounds like kind of like a dick thing to say, but
yeah, we do need them as a tag team though. I think because right now we have Candice and Indy, Casey and Kaden, I guess Raquel and Dakota, Shotzi and Ember, Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade.
sort of.
Kinda, yeah. I think that's it. Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else either.
Unless you count like Marina Shafir and...
Stop, I always count Marina Shafir.
But my pick for Wrestler of the Night, I'm gonna have to do elimination again. I can't decide. So I'm crossing off Asher Hale.
Okay.
Crossing off LA Knight. Crossing off Timothy Thatcher.
Fucked up, but sure.
I'm gonna cross off Saray.
Ooh, fucked up as well.
I love her, but I don't think she compares to the other two that are left, at least today.
I continue. I mean, you're wrong, but continue.
I'm gonna go with Shotzi Blackheart. She really put her body and safety on the line, and fucking pulled it all off. Like that leap off of the girder onto the announce desk.
Yeah.
She loves pain. She has
You're
to.
right. I'll give it to you.
Hell yeah.
Because that was like that it resonated like, or it echoed of EO with the trash can.
Yeah.
And I love watching that shit so much because like I feel like a lot of people have this preconceived notion of what wrestling was for women like years ago, and therefore they don't find it as interesting. And then like you got people like Shotzi now who are just like jumping from fucking heights onto tables, and it's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Should have known like months ago. She cut a promo where she stapled her own chest. Should have known that she would do crazy shit like this after that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially since she's been arriving in a tank every time.
True.
All right, so match of the night. We had Leon Ruff versus Isaiah Swerve Scott in a Falls Count Anywhere match. That was a great ass match, especially to start the show. Amazing. Like probably the best match we've seen of Leon and Swerve to date. Really great stuff. The ending though, with AJ Francis, kind of came out of nowhere.
I would have liked them to have finished the match, and maybe like AJ Francis could have come in and like put the hurt on just a little bit more.
Yeah. I agree. Then we had Asher Hale versus Cameron Grimes. It was a fun match. Kind of had nothing though. It was fun. It's nice to see Asher Hale doing something. He's a wrestler. I think
he's gonna be a good one too.
Yeah. In his debut, he added some flair. Looked good. Then we had GYV versus Thatcher and Ciampa. It's a fun match. It's really fun. That's really it. I don't see this feud going anywhere, but it was fun. I hear that too. I don't know what's going on. Then we had Saray versus Zeta Ramir. Fun match. Had a couple botches, but it was fun. It felt very much like we're putting this match on because the fans want it, you know? Because the fans love
always
you
a bad
guys.
thing.
Yeah. It shows that they're listening and they're paying attention. But it's very clear that it's like not going anywhere. Maybe there'll be like a tag team for like a match or two. But it's still fun. Then we had LA Knight versus Jake Atlas. Fun match. Fun jobber match. That's really it. And then lastly we had The Way versus Shotzi and Ember. Fuck, a really amazing match. Like this is another reason why women's wrestling on NXT is so fucking great. Why NXT has the best women's division in the entirety of wrestling. Like, there's no comparison. Like AEW, as much as they hate drawing up comparisons, they had their Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, that match. It was like, wow, look at how great women's wrestling is. That's like once they had that.
Mm-hmm.
NXT has it like so often. Just great
a week
women's
now.
matches. Yeah. It's great. So, match of the night. I have to give it to The Way versus Shotzi and Ember. Such a great match.
Yeah. No, I really feel like if you didn't say that, I'd probably be very confused.
And I didn't expect The Way to win it. Like, going into it.
I didn't either. I kind of thought the Dexter would come in and this would almost be like the breaking up of The Way.
Yeah. I thought that we were going to get like some tension, especially when Johnny and Austin weren't there for their match, that we would see some tension. It doesn't look like they're breaking up anytime soon.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah.
I'm glad that like we didn't have men coming in the way of this. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, to run it back. Promo of the night. Karrion Kross meets his challengers. Wrestler of the night, Shotzi Blackheart. Match of the night, The Way versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. Great episode. Also, normally, now we would leave this to a Q&A section to answer some questions that were left on the YouTube video from the previous episode, or questions in the chat. But since this is a new thing that we just brought up this episode, we will be starting that next week. Unless anyone has any questions in chat right now before we close out. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, go leave a question in the comments. If you have one for us, we will answer it in the next one. If you're watching on Twitch, ask questions, whatever.
Go ahead.
You want to close it out?
I can close it out. If you watched tonight, thank you so much. We appreciate it. If you watched in the future, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Happy birthday to me. I actually will not be here for the SmackDown episode before my birthday, so no one will actually get to wish me a happy birthday.
So it'll be just me for that?
Yeah.
Oh god, my first solo podcast. That's gonna suck.
Say that like you don't solo podcast all the time.
I know, but now
Dream.
I have to take notes on the matches.
I mean, you can do it your own way if you want. If you have a way you'd prefer to do it.
I'll just play the matches on stream.
Do like a live watch and react. There you go. But yeah. Leave your birthday wishes for me in the comments of the YouTube video.
Also questions.
We know what you're here for. Please tune in on Friday. It will be our Friday night SmackDown episode. We will be talking about SmackDown. Funny enough. Interesting how that works out, you know? But yeah, it's always fun. Friday nights are always fun because it's Friday night and we are well rested after 2 full days off.
And SmackDown's fun. SmackDown's great.
SmackDown can be fun. So,
it's like NXT, but on the main roster.
Calm down. But yeah, that's all I've got to say.
And thank you all for watching. Follow, subscribe, all that jazz. Check us out on the YouTube. Pinfall Podcast. We don't have a custom link. Search up the Pinfall Podcast. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. My Twitter is at TheMarkCameron. Liz is at Eliza23. And if you want to check out the live show, come over to the Twitch. Twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast. Yeah, it should be in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but
Did you do the Twitter handles?
I did. Oh, check out, I want to shout out my stream real quick. I'm starting a new series on my stream this Thursday. It's going to be every Thursday for the foreseeable future. WWE 2K20 Universe Mode. If you want to pop in on that, you can. I'll be doing some commentating on some matches. Raw, SmackDown, NXT all happening in one episode. It might be a long-ass stream, but it'll be fun.
I might be building a shelf that day.
Okay.
But if I'm not building a shelf, I will pop in.
Got all the cards laid out. I went over Raw and SmackDown. Should I go over NXT or should I leave that as a surprise?
It's up to you.
I'm gonna post on Twitter anyway, but let me okay. So for NXT, which will be the last show on Thursday, the main event is Jon Moxley versus Curtis Axel for the North American Championship match in a steel cage match. We've got Baron Corbin and Big E versus Goldberg and The Rock in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Beth Phoenix and Sarah Logan versus Maurice and Bayley in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. The Big Show versus Cedric Alexander. And Maria Kanellis versus Lana. I'm not going to do a shout out every week, but because it's the first one. Alright, thank you all for watching. Join us back on Friday for SmackDown. See you then. Have a great rest of the week.